If you're thinking about buying an 80 series Land Cruiser, you have to watch this video till the end. What I'm about to show you is something that will need to be done to a majority of Land Cruisers out there. And if ignored long enough, it could put you at serious risk on the road. This right here. I'm talking losing a tire while you're driving. Today I'm taking on what some call a rite of passage to owning an 80 series, the front axle rebuild. Taking on a job like this for someone like me who has no business working on vehicles is very intimidating. And had I known everything that it involved, I might have really put some thought into this before purchasing the truck. But here I am, and my dad always taught me to never back down from a challenge. So today, we're rebuilding my front axle. And of course, the moment I committed to finally doing this job, I realized I didn't have half the tools I needed. So before I even touched the bolt, I knew I had to prepare. This phase alone saved me days of frustration and gave me the confidence to get started. I'll be creating a PDF with all the tools I used, and I'll link it in the description down below if you want this exact setup. Once I had everything, parts, supplies, and equipment, it was time for the teardown. And this is where things started getting interesting. The teardown was chaos and therapeutic. 30 years of grease and asphalt welded these parts together like they hadn't moved since the 90s. As I pulled each part off this truck, I couldn't help but think of all the memories that were made in this vehicle. The deeper I went, the more I realized how essential organization was. After cleaning each part, I'd put it into a little baggie and labeled each piece, and I kept a diagram close. This right here was a lifesaver. The 80 series Land Cruiser front axle reference guide. Crucial for this repair. However, about halfway through, something didn't look right. In my research, I had read about this. A ring worn into the axle shaft. A tiny groove that's almost invisible, but would have cost me hours of extra work if I had ignored it. This is the moment I'm glad I didn't rush to finish the repair. I paused, took a step back, and made a plan. The solution? A seal driver that pushes the seal just far enough to bypass the groove and seat correctly. So I ordered it, and while I waited 5 days for it to arrive, I started working on the other side. My confidence was rebuilt again. When removing the passenger tie rod end, I made a mistake. I tore the boot off completely, thinking it had gone bad. And instantly, my confidence plummeted. Now, I had to stop everything. I had to find a part and hope someone had it in stock. Thankfully, the front axle reference guide helped me pull up the part number fast, find a local shop, replace it, and once that side quest was over, I was back on track. I took my time cleaning and making sure I was ready for reassembly. When the seal driver finally showed up, plus a few extra parts, because if I'm gonna pay for shipping, I might as well make it count, I was ready. And putting everything back together was the most satisfying part of the entire rebuild. With everything clean, freshly greased, new bearings, new seals, the reassembly felt like building a Lego set. Piece by piece, it all started to make sense. This phase was where I went from feeling unsure to feeling empowered and capable. And when I torqued down the final bolt, it was time for the test drive. The moment of truth. Rolling out of the garage, I was nervous. Did I do it right? Well, a year later, after driving this thing everywhere, I can confidently say, yes, I did do it right. Finishing this rebuild felt like a weight lifted off of my shoulders. The axle is smooth, quiet, and leak-free. And this wasn't just maintenance, it was therapy. It taught me confidence, patience, and a lot about myself. Now I know, for the most part, the majority of the parts inside this front axle. And if something ever were to go wrong on a road trip, I know I can diagnose it and hopefully get my family back home. This wasn't just a lesson about a Land Cruiser. It was a lesson about life and the challenges we all face and how we overcome them. If you're thinking about buying an 80 series, remember this is part of the journey. And honestly, it's worth every minute. So thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. And if you want a full detailed repair video, let me know in the comments down below and I'll see what I can do. And as I slowly transition from videos about Land Cruisers to other topics, I hope you join me on this journey. I'm sure we'll have a lot in common. And if we don't, I hope to at least entertain you or teach you something from the lessons that I learn. And again, if I don't post for a while, just know that I appreciate all the encouraging comments and I appreciate you guys. And if you guys are interested in one of these 80 series Land Cruiser front axle reference diagrams, please let me know in the comments below. You guys have a good one.